Okay, I am back, guys, and we are on chapter 5. And guess what? We are on. This starts the meat section. Just put my chicken in a container because I didn't eat much off from it. Right. Poultry for meat and for eggs and meat. Chapter 5. And guess what? We're more than halfway done with this book. We've only got chapter 5, 6, and 7 to get through now. And we're done with this book. And then we can get on to the next one. I'm so happy, you guys. Okay. Here we go. Poultry for eggs and meat. Yay! Farm fresh eggs. Best ever. It's amazing how many people have never had a truly fresh egg. Hens that live a healthy life with fresh air, good food, and clean water, not to mention access to open space and green pastures, lay eggs that are firmer, more deeply colored, harder shelled, and most important, more nutritious than those of their factory farmed counterparts. Chickens are among the easiest animals to keep in a small amount of space. On a typical quarter-acre lot, a family can keep as many as a dozen chickens. Since a flock that size would produce as many as a dozen eggs per day, though you might want to start with fewer, perhaps 3 or 4 hens, unless you have a ready supply of customers to buy the surplus eggs. Another benefit of keeping chickens and letting them roam the backyard is that they can help with the pest control, digging up Japanese beetle grubs from the lawn and snapping up snails and slugs in the vegetable garden, with some supervision to make sure they don't start snacking on the strawberries. Besides, chickens are just plain fun to watch. Yeah, they definitely are. If you're serious about the homestead life and want to try your hand at raising poultry, chickens, ducks, or geese, for meat, spend some time thinking about the realities of raising an animal you plan to eat. First, there are the logistics. Who will slaughter the animal? If you're raising animals for the first time, definitely seek out a professional in your area who can either do the job for you or at least lead you through the process. And don't underestimate how attached you can become to a chicken. You just might find yourself with a long-term pet instead of dinner. Yeah, I have issues. So, probably going to be making a deal with Sandy and Jason on that, because I don't know if I can do it myself. Really don't. Alright. So, the keeping chickens. Probably going to break this. I'm going to break this down into several videos. Because that would just be too long of a video. Because this goes through a lot. I mean, a lot. So, not going to make a whole video out of this. Alright, so, here we go. Keeping chickens. If you've never raised livestock before, keeping chickens is a great start. They're easy to raise, they don't need a lot of space, and they don't cost a lot of money to buy or to feed. Everything you learn about feeding, housing, and caring for your chickens will help you later if you decide to raise some other kind of animal. People have raised chickens for at least 5,000 years. All chickens belong to the genus Gallus, the Latin word for rooster. The English naturalist Charles Darwin traced all chickens back tens of thousands of years to a single extant breed, the wild red jungle fowl of Southeast Asia. These fowl look like today's brown leghorns, only smaller. We're not going to get into that, okay? We're just not. Wild jungle fowl are homebodies, preferring to live and forage in one place as long as possible. This trait made taming wild fowl an easy task. All people had to do was provide a suitable place for the chickens to live and make sure that the flock got plenty to eat. As a reward, they had ready access to fresh eggs and meat. Early chickens didn't lay many eggs, though, and they made pitifully scrawny meat birds. Over time, chicken keepers selected breeders from those that laid best, grew fastest, and developed the most muscle, and thus became about today's domestic chickens. The Romans called household chickens Gallus domesticus, a term scientists still use. Different people who have kept chickens over the years value different traits. which led to the development of many different breeds. In 1868, Darwin took inventory of the world's chicken population and found only 13 breeds. Now we have many times that number. Most of today's breeds were developed during the 20th century when chickens became the most popular domestic food animal. In recent years, there has been a renewed interest in heritage breeds as well. All right, here we go. Getting started. How much it costs to get started depends on such factors as the kind of chickens you want and how common they are in your area, how simple or elaborate their housing will be, and whether you will already have facilities you can use or modify. Chickens must be housed to protect them from predators and harsh weather, but the housing need not be fancy. An unused tool shed or the corner of a barn or other outbuilding can provide comfortable quarters. If your yard isn't fenced, you'll need to put one up. A good fence keeps dogs and other predators away from your chickens and keeps the flock from bothering your garden or your neighbor's flower beds. In deciding where to put your chicken yard, consider whether crowing might bother the neighbors. Male chickens, called roosters or cocks, are well known for their inclination to crow at dawn. Ancient people believe they crow to scare away evil spirits lurking in the dark. Okay, well, that's just stupid. Sorry, it just is. Roosters occasionally crow during the day, and if two roosters are within hearing distance, they will periodically engage in an impromptu crowing contest. A rooster rarely crows during the dark of night, unless he is disturbed by a sound or light. If the sound of crowing might cause a problem in your area, consider keeping hens without a rooster. Although the rare persnickety neighbor may complain about hen sounds, the loudest noise a hen makes is a brief cackle after she's laid an egg. Contented hens sing to themselves by making a soft, pleasant sound to which only a grouch could object. And I know what sounds they're talking about after us having our chickens in Michigan. Without a rooster, hens will still lay eggs. The rooster's function is not to make hens lay eggs, but to fertilize the eggs so they can develop into chicks. Without a rooster, you won't be able to hatch the eggs your hens lay.
Ignore that.
Did you drop your phone?
Yes.
Good job. Comparing drawbacks and benefits. Raising chickens has some downsides. One is the dust they stir up, which can get pretty unpleasant if they are housed in an outbuilding where equipment is stored. Another is their propensity to scratch, which becomes a problem if they get into a bed of newly planted seedlings. Chickens also produce plenty of droppings that, if not properly managed, will smell bad and attract flies. Before you acquire chickens, make sure that you and your family are not allergic to them. Hang on, guys. What?
My stomach isn't acting right.
I'm sorry. Did you answer your phone?
I went to answer the phone and I dropped you on the phone. That's what took me so long to answer. I went to answer it and I accidentally dropped you. I was like, dang it.
You can find this out ahead of time by visiting a poultry show at your county fair, or spending a few hours helping a friend or neighbor care for his or her chickens. If you have an allergic reaction, you will have avoided the expense and heartache of setting up a flock you immediately have to get rid of. Until you raise your own chickens, it may be hard to believe that people become attached to their chickens and have difficulty letting them go when it's time to butcher meat birds or replace old layers with younger, more efficient hens. The only alternative, though, is to run a retirement home for chickens, which gets pretty expensive, and the birds will still get old and die eventually. You'll have to come to grips with the loss. For many people, the upside of raising chickens far outweighs the downside. First of all, chickens provide wholesome eggs and meat for your family, and you can take pride in knowing that the flock that puts food on your table lives under pleasant conditions. Secondly, raising chickens is educational. By watching chickens interact with each other, you will learn something about how all birds live and behave. And last but not least, chickens are attractive. They come in all sizes, shapes, and colors. You can find a breed that appeals to your aesthetic sensibilities. Caring for a home flock takes a few minutes each day to provide feed and water and to collect eggs. In hot or cold weather, these jobs must be done twice daily, 7 days a week. If you raise chickens for meat, the project will be finished in 2 to 3 months. If you raise hens for eggs, you must care for them year-round. As long as you keep in mind that your flock relies on you for its survival, raising chickens is a breeze. Choosing the right breed. No one knows for sure how many breeds of chickens may be found throughout the world. Some breeds that once existed have become extinct. New ones have been developed and forgotten. Ones have been rediscovered. Only a fraction of the breeds known throughout the world are found in North America. Egg breeds. All hens lay eggs, but some breeds lay more eggs than others. The best laying hen will yield about 24 dozen eggs per year. The best layers are smallish breeds that produce white-shelled eggs. These breeds originated near the Mediterranean Sea, hence their classification as Mediterranean. Examples are Minorca, Ancona, and Leghorn, respectively named after the Spanish island of Minorca and the Italian seaport towns of Ancona and Livorno. Leghorn is the breed used commercially to produce white eggs for the supermarket. Leghorns are inherently nervous, flighty birds that are unlikely to calm down unless you spend a lot of time taming them. The most efficient layers are crosses between breeds or strains within a breed. The strains used to create commercial layers are often kept secret, but you can be sure a Leghorn is involved. Most layers produce white eggs, but some lay brown eggs. Brown egg layers are calmer than Leghorns and therefore more fun to raise. I also like the color of the eggs better. After a year or two, the laying ability of hens decreases. Actually, it's about 3 years. Unless you choose to keep your spent hens as pets, the best place for them is the stew pot. Meat breeds. Good layers are scrawny because they put all their energy into making eggs instead of meat. If you want to have homegrown meat, raise a meat breed. The various terms for chicken meat depends on the stage at which the bird is butchered. Broilers and fryers weigh about 3.5 pounds and are suitable for frying or barbecuing. Roasters weigh 4 to 6 pounds and are usually roasted in the oven. For meat purposes, most people prefer to raise white feathered breeds because they look cleaner than dark feathered birds after plucking. Blech. The best breeds for meat grow plump fast. The longer a chicken takes to get big enough to butcher, the more it eats. The more it eats, the more it costs to feed. A slow-growing broiler therefore costs more per pound than a fast grower. Most meat breeds are in the English class, which includes Australorp, Orpington, and Cornish. Of these, the most popular is Cornish, which originated in Cornwall, England. The ideal Cornish hen weighs exactly 1 pound dressed. The fastest-growing broilers result from a cross between Cornish and New Hampshire or White Plymouth Rock. The Rock Cornish cross is the most popular meat hybrid. The 1 pound Cornish hens you see in the supermarket are actually 4-week-old Rock Cornish crosses, and they may not be hens but cockerels or young cocks, young roosters. A Rock Cornish eats just 2 pounds of feed for each pound of weight it gains. By comparison, a hybrid layer eats 3 times as much to gain the same weight. You see then why it doesn't make much sense to raise a laying breed for meat or a meat breed for eggs. If you want both eggs and meat, you could keep a flock of layers and raise occasional fryers, or you could raise a dual-purpose breed. Dual-purpose breeds. And I'll show you that is the Minorca. That's the Ancona, the one in the middle, and that's the Leghorn. And we had some of those. And then that's an Australorp right there. Orpington, we had buff Orpingtons, and the Cornish. We didn't have any Cornishes. Okay. The dual purpose breeds, New Hampshire, which is right there. The Plymouth Rock or the Baird Rocks are the same. Rhode Island Reds, I really want some of those. They're really pretty. And the Chanticleer, there's the Chanticleer right there, and then there's the Dominique, and we had 2 of those. Okay. Dual purpose breeds. Dual purpose breeds kept for both meat and eggs don't lay quite as well as a laying breed and aren't quite as fast growing as a meat breed. but they lay better than a meat breed and grow plumper faster than a laying breed. Most dual-purpose chickens are classified as American because they originated in the United States. They have familiar names like Rhode Island Reds, Plymouth Rock, Delaware, and New Hampshire. All American breeds lay brown-shelled eggs. Some hybrids make good dual-purpose chickens. One is the black sex link, a cross between a Rhode Island Red Rooster and a Baird Plymouth Rock hen. Another is a red sex link, a cross between a Rhode Island Rooster and a white Leghorn. A sex link is a hybrid whose chicks may be sexed by their color or feather growth. Red sex links lay better than black sex links, but their eggs are smaller and dressed birds weigh nearly 1 pound less. Each hatchery has its favorite hybrid. Although hybrids are generally more efficient at producing meat and eggs than a pure breed, they will not reproduce themselves. If you want more of the same, you have to buy new chicks from a hatchery. Endangered breeds. Many dual-purpose breeds once commonly found in backyards are now endangered. Because these chickens have not been bred for factory-like production, they've retained their ability to survive harsh conditions, desire to forage, and resistant to disease. The American Livestock Breeds Conservancy keeps track of breeds and varieties it believes are in particular danger of becoming extinct and encourages breeders to join its poultry conservation project. Among the breeds on its list is the Dominique, sometimes incorrectly called the Dominecker, the oldest American breed. That's cool that we had 2 of those. A few years ago, it almost disappeared, but it is now coming back thanks to the efforts of conservation breeders. Canada's oldest breed, the Chanticleer, experienced a similar fortunate turn of fate. Whereas the American Livestock Breeds Conservancy specializes in dual-purpose breeds, the Society for the Preservation of Poultry Antiquities specializes in tracking and conserving endangered exhibition chickens. Whew. Nebula, cut it out! Sorry, our dog's being stupid. Alright. When I get this done, I think I'm going to stop and I'll upload this and then I'll go into... No, I think I'll go through the egg production and then I'll stop. Okay. Exhibition chickens. Exhibition breeds. Exhibition chickens are bred for beauty rather than their ability to efficiently produce meat or eggs. Some of the same breeds kept for meat and eggs are also popular for exhibition, although the strains are different. Commercial strains used for egg or meat production are often hybrids, but even the pure production breeds are not necessarily true to type. Exhibition strains, on the other hand, are more true to type but less efficient at producing eggs or meat. Even among the exhibition breeds, some lay better than others. Exhibition breeds in the Mediterranean class lay better than most other show breeds, even though they don't lay as well as production flocks of the same breed. Similarly, among exhibition birds, the Cornish and Cochin are more suitable than many others for meat production. Bantams or miniature exhibition chickens weigh 1 to 2 pounds, and they are very cute. I like bantams. They are popular because they eat less and require less space than larger chickens. The shrill crowing of a bantam rooster, however, is more likely to irritate neighbors than the lower pitched crowing of a large rooster. I've been leaned over too much. Alright, egg production. A pullet starts laying when she is 20 to 24 weeks old, and that's between 5 and 6 months. Her first eggs are quite small, and she will lay only 1 egg every 3 to 4 days. By the time she is 30 weeks old, or about 7 months, her eggs will be normal in size and she will lay about 2 eggs every 3 days. When a pullet is born, she carries in her body as many as 4,000 ova or undeveloped yolks. When the pullet reaches laying age, one by one the ova grow into full-size yolks and drop into a 2-foot-long tube called the oviduct. As a yolk travels through the oviduct, it becomes surrounded by egg white and encased in a shell. After about 24 hours after it starts its journey, it is a complete egg ready to be laid. A hen cannot lay more eggs than the total number of ova inside her body. From the day she enters this world, each female chick carries with her the beginnings of all the eggs she can possibly lay during her lifetime. Few hens, however, live long enough to lay more than 1,000 of the possible 4,000 they started with. That's kind of sad. All right, I'm going to stop right here, guys, and the next one is going to be on the life of a layer versus lazy hens, the bleaching sequence, and replacement pullets. I will be right back. Let me get this up there, and I will see you guys in a minute. Remember to do your research. Start looking up your research on chickens. They're amazing farm animals to start with. They are one of the best, one of the easiest. Look them up, guys, and do your research, and I'll be right back.